Hi, hello. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. I am Catie Brannon. This is Tea Time True Crime with Catie. Although I don't have tea tonight, I have coffee. Probably not the best thing to drink right now after midnight. But without further ado, this case is going to be very upsetting, and also it's very controversial because for many, many years, people thought they had their killer. But there is a few people that believe in this guy's innocence. So I want to play devil's advocate here. All right? Stay tuned. Enjoy the title page. It is the good vibes that I like to send to people. You know, just my beautiful cat, my boys.
Let's say we'll try again. Close your eyes and pretend.
Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the good vibes, my beautiful cat boys. So I usually say something, a product that I really like, but I'm just going to do a shameless plug for myself. Yes, we do have merch if you want to check that out. And also the main thing is that I'm a business owner now. Yes, I have a 1099. So what I do mostly is I'm a financial coach. And what that simply means is somebody who helps with finances. I think finances are extremely important. I want to help you with your financial house. Yes, that means life insurance, investing. Yes, absolutely. And also retirement. Plus, if you guys have goals, maybe trips you want to take, but yet you can't seem to save money, I can help you with that. And also if you're like, oh, life insurance? Oh no, I have that. My job, gives that to me. Well, first of all, that's great. A lot of people don't have life insurance, but if you do, if you have any life insurance at all, let me check it out. Book an appointment with me and I will tell you exactly what you are paying for. And no cost to you because I truly want to help people. And if you have been on my channel for a long time, I hope you know that it's true, especially how I talk about these cases. But yeah, I'm very excited about this journey, about this new, I don't want to say chapter in my life. I mean, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, just to help people and help with their financial house, because helping myself was pretty incredible. So I basically talk about things that were not even taught in school. If you want more information, and if you live in the United States, mostly North America, even Canada, I can answer some questions. If I don't know, guys, I can always ask somebody else in the field. And I am somebody who is very, very truthful and will be like, I will get back to you on that. I won't feed you a whole bunch of bull. So yeah, book an appointment today. You can check me out on the link tree. You can email me at teatimeCB@yahoo.com, and let's get it started and let's do your financial goals, or let's get you retired earlier than you thought. Hey, you never know. It's your life. Why not be happy? Thank you. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. So tonight's case is about a 7-year-old girl that is no longer with us today. It is a very upsetting case, but it's also very, very strange. I'm going to be talking about Danielle Van Dam. Danielle Van Dam was born September 22nd, 1994. Great birthday. She was born in Plano, Texas, but she lived in California, like the San Diego area. Very nice place. If you guys ever been to San Diego, it's absolutely beautiful. Her mother name was Brenda and her father name was Damon. Now she had a older brother, I believe, Derek, and a younger brother named Dylan. She was a Girl Scout. She was, a very spunky, very loving, sweet child. She was a second grader. She also liked to write in her journal, and they say her favorite colors were pink and purple. Now, this is talking about children. So if you cannot, if it really, really upsets you, definitely click out on this podcast. But at the same time, I want you to stay because we don't really know what happened to her. Yeah, I'll just say the evidence. I'll say speculation, but we really don't know. Now, I know that sounds tricky, like, was she kidnapped? Was she ever found? She was found, you guys, but the coroner and they really don't know how she died. So I'm just going to turn it back and talk about the 27 days beforehand when she was taken from her bedroom. Yeah, a real life boogeyman, you guys. So Brenda and Damon, as I said, are Danielle's parents. Now, they have been very controversial subjects, especially with the courts, especially with the media. The mother is bisexual and perhaps the father is too. Not really sure, but we are sure that the parents were in an open marriage. Yes, they did this swingers lifestyle and they smoked marijuana. But during the trial, they did lie. They actually did not say they smoked marijuana, but then they finally said, okay, we do, we're embarrassed, but what does this have to do with finding our daughter? Excuse me. I think that's a good question, but you also have people that really look at their lifestyle and think that, well, if you think it's this guy, why wasn't it this other person? Why wasn't other people looked at for this crime? Again, guys, I'm playing devil's advocate. I have seen this talked about in like 15-minute stories, 7 minutes, and some as long as 90 minutes. And I have heard a whole bunch of stories. We don't really know. Yeah, I want you guys to be the judge, okay? So this adorable, bubbly girl, I love her necklace. I actually had one when I was a kid. Probably at that age, weirdly. Anyway, yeah. So she was very loved. And when this little girl passed away, it devastated a community. They even actually made a memorial, yes, over an overpass called Danielle Van Dam Overpass, which is located in El Cajon, California. So when you pass that, you always think, and I remember passing that years and years ago when I was in Los Angeles, and I loved going to San Diego because it's beautiful and it's like less, popular, and I don't know, it's just beautiful beaches. And I remember driving down there and I'm like, Danielle Van Dam. And then I was researching some cases and then she came up. And then weirdly, we have synchronicities. If you don't know, I'm born September 22nd as well. And it's really cool to talk about my birthday twin, but it's not really cool to talk about her not being here anymore. But only at 7 years old, guys, she made an impression on people. She was extremely empathetic, made friends extremely easily, and people just loved being around her. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys back to February 1st. There has been so many speculation about what happened. The main thing that I keep seeing is that there was an alarm that was not checked, not once, but twice it wasn't checked. But it wasn't like an ADT alarm. It had like a little chirping noise and like a light. But that night, Brenda was out at the bar, I believe it was called Dad's Restaurant, where people would actually go and hang out. It was not only a restaurant, but you can dance and it's a bar. And it's a very, very, good time. Now, Brenda wasn't a regular at the restaurant, apparently. But her girlfriends were there, and I believe 2 gentlemen were there as well. Now, they're having a good time, and she's a little intoxicated, and she goes home. And, apparently they all like hang out, and they leave quite late. Now, during this time, the kids are put to bed around 10 p.m. And, the dad, this is really cute that I found out. So Damon would be, tucking his kids in bed, and Danielle and him would have this game like, oh my gosh, you're so strong. And he pretends he plays dead, like passes out, like, oh, you're squeezing me too tight. And, and it's really, it sounds weird, I know, but there's actually quite a few people that their parents did that. I think it sounds kind of cute and endearing. So Danielle would love it. She would giggle and giggle, and then her dad would put her down to bed. So this is where timelines are really weird. So the kids are in bed, and the mom went out partying. There has been speculation that these women, it's an open marriage, so they already had sexual relations, so they're just having a good time. And the town really looked down on her for being, like I said, bisexual, open-minded, and that kind of nature. And they were dancing pretty provocatively, which, okay, who cares? Consenting adults, Now, there was someone at the bar named David Westerfelt, and there has been speculation where he began to dance with Brenda, and yet she was kind of put off by him, and she didn't want to dance with him anymore, kind of thing. But then there's other people that said that yes, he was at the bar, they were cordial, but they did not dance together. So again, guys, this is very confusing case, but I want you with me because I thought I had all the facts, but I don't know anymore, honestly. So this happened, forgive me, in 2002. Yeah, quite a long time ago. So they're dancing, having a few laughs, having a good time, and like I said, they arrive really, really late. One person said the alarm tripped around 2 a.m., and then it tripped again around 3 a.m. There was a dog in the picture. I'm not sure what the dog's name is, but there is speculation that the dog was, warning guys, I did not know this could happen to a dog, and this was extremely upsetting. So I want you guys to take a deep breath right now, because I'm about to tell you something that is horrifying. I know it's with animals, so don't kill me, because I have friends on here that just cannot hear about harming of animals. Well, do you know that cats, they get declawed? Some owners declaw them. Personally, I think that's extremely inhumane. I would never declaw my cats. I just, I trim their nails, every, I don't know, Jackson Galaxy says every 4 to 6 weeks. Jackson Galaxy. Love him. And but when I'm out, my cats get upset, so they scratch the furniture, and yeah, my beautiful purple furniture is just destroyed. And even though I love my furniture so much, I could never get my cats declawed. Now, I bring that up because did you know, we're talking about cats, now we're going to be talking about dogs. Did you know that dogs can get debarked? Yes. Debarked. Have you guys ever heard of that? If you're like, wait a minute, does that mean they take out their vocal cords? I didn't want to look into it because I do not want to see pictures or anything of the dog that is been debarked. But tragically, George knows exactly what that means. And I feel awful that my partner knew. He's like, yeah, I lived in neighborhoods and I've actually heard it. The dog barks, but it's it sounds really sad, And I'm like, God, who would do that? Who would debark their dogs? That's who they are. They're dogs. They bark. I'm bringing it up because if you have a dog and, someone is being kidnapped in your home, you would automatically think you would hear a loud bark. Like, I know, I was raised with dogs. So my parents have dogs and they bark, like bark, bark, bark. And, so like if there is anything going on outside or just, the dogs will bark. So I was very like curious, like, well, why didn't this dog bark? But then I'm like, oh, the dog was debarked. I don't know if that was true. I read that and I was like, what? So again, that could be why, she wasn't heard being taken from her bedroom. Yeah. Apparently this time, you guys, we don't know exactly when she was taken. Like, some people say they do, but there's so many different time frames. And we don't know. But we do know that the parents were still sleeping in the house and their daughter was taken and the brothers didn't wake up. So yeah, it's weird. It's very, very strange. But I saw that February 1st, when Mom came home with her friends from the restaurant/bar, they hung out a little bit more, smoked a little weed, and after that, they wanted to go to bed, and they noticed one of them, it was the kind of thing where like one alarm went off, but it wasn't like a normal alarm, of how probably your home alarm would go off. It was like a light chirp because this is early 2000s. I'm not sure how loud it was, but they noticed the second time because when they were walking around, one of the friends thought, oh, okay, well, I left the screen door open, so Brenda and Damon thought that the friends that left may have left the screen door open when they left. Yeah. It's, what? They did not check on their children afterwards, which, my God, they're getting so much crap for that. And I'm not a mother, but I have best friends who are mothers, and I can't imagine not checking, but I'm a little bit on the paranoid side. I'm a double checker, everything, I guess being, having a true crime channel for years, you're just like, you're very well aware of your surroundings. So they didn't think anything of it. Like I said, this was an upscale kind of neighborhood, very nice. They would never think to check on the kids again because they're like, oh, one of our friends just left the door open. It was until the next morning, around 9 a.m., when I believe they were getting ready for breakfast, when they went into Danielle's room, her pretty pink bedroom. It was very sweet and princess-like with like a white canopy. And they noticed Danielle was not there. And they were like, well, where the heck is your sister? Where is she? So they walk around and they're looking around the house and they do not find Danielle anywhere. Like, they're like, where is Danielle? They even go to the front yard, backyard, all around the house, and they're in a panic. They could not find their daughter. Brenda must had mother's intuition because, first of all, I just want to say congratulations to the police at the time because they were on this case like white on rice. I mean, they literally did maybe too much. Yeah, I'll get into that. Again, guys, devil's advocate, because I have all these notes that I've written about, for this case, but yet I have found different like comments and Reddit posts that are like debunking what I read. So I'm just like very, very confused. So this is kind of like a detective. I want you guys to play detective too. Okay, because a lot of this doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so they cannot find their daughter, and Brenda, immediately, police are involved, okay? So, police, completely, they canvass the neighborhood, and they notice 2 doors down, there is a neighbor, David Westerfelt. Yes, David that was at the bar with the mom that night, with her friends, that David. Yeah. Well, they went to go to his home, but they saw that his RV, there was like an RV motorhome. And I don't know if it was like in front of the house. I believe it was just in front of the house. It was like a nice RV. Well, he wasn't there at all. So the police are checking and canvassing the neighborhood, asking questions, seeing if anyone saw anything. And then they, like I said, they go to David's residence and they notice the RV is not there. And they're wondering like, I wonder where he went. So the police pretty much waited a long time. It doesn't say how long, you guys, but they waited. And as soon as David came home, police were on him. Like, oh man, well, where'd you go? You know, this and that. And he is apparently immediately acting suspicious. So they get search warrants, apparently. I don't know. Some say they did. Some sources say they didn't. And they noticed there was a very little bit of droplet of blood in the RV. There was also hair as well in the RV. And there was, it was very strange because when he came back to his home, he made a pit stop. Apparently, he made a pit stop to the dry cleaners. One source says he dropped off a comforter. Another source says he didn't. But one thing we do know is he dropped off a jacket. He dropped off a jacket, and when he gave the jacket in, again, guys, this is argument, okay? There was 3 droplets of blood on the jacket, okay? Now, he must have really liked this jacket to go to the dry cleaners and be like, yo, clean this up, okay? But before, like, when he gave the jacket, usually I feel like they tell you, well, what's on it? What's the stain? And when the jacket came back, there was blood on it. I know, that's what some sources say. I'm thinking some of this testimony, like some of these testimonies and comments are maybe like kin or family from the Westerfelt family, because I was looking at YouTube, because I do use YouTube as one of my sources, and I check out different podcasts, and of course I do different sources on Google as well. But there is this guy that kept commenting, just truth facts. Yeah, if you're watching this, I saw and I read a lot of your comments, and a lot, you're making good points. You are, because when I look at how fast the trial started, but it did take like a long time to find this guy guilty. Yeah, if you guys don't believe me, go to a few of, just type in Danielle Van Dam, and I looked at, I wish I could find the whole court case. I only found like snippets, and it was extremely, extremely disturbing. I mean, the prosecution wanted David gone. I mean, gone. But what people don't understand is the alarm aspect. Like, some people are thinking it's like a John, like a JonBenet Ramsey kind of case. Yeah. But the JonBenet Ramsey case, I feel like everyone knows about that case. Even if you're not know true crime very well, everybody knows that case. Well, Danielle Van Dam's case was not, I mean, it was very popular back during that time, but it wasn't like everywhere, because my mother would always talk to me about true crime cases, and I don't ever remember the Danielle Van Dam. Maybe it's because my mother doesn't like to talk about children, because she has 3 of her own, and I think it's sad. So this guy, Just Truth Facts, he's saying that that David is innocent, and he is literally longest comments you'll read on YouTube on some of the videos. And he has commented on videos as old as like 7 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I didn't want to talk about a child, but then when I started researching and I saw videos from like 14 years ago, 13 years ago, and these tributes to this little girl, I was like, okay, she needs to be remembered. We need to do her justice. Okay. So you're like, all right, Catie, you're rambling. I know. Welcome to Catie land, okay? Welcome. I'm like, I talk in riddles, but I hope you understand. So anyway, this guy, Truth Facts Dude, I read your comments. Maybe not all of them, but I read quite a few. And he truly believes in David's innocence. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. So, the alarm thing doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Unless, they're still kind of drunk and high and they're not really, really sure. I mean, these parents that have 3 kids, they worked really hard for their job and they like to let loose sometimes. So, he makes a pretty good point, kind of, that, police went right to David because I guess the RV was missing and he was cleaning the RV right when he got back, which I'll let you know that my parents owned an RV and when we were using it or like traveling in it, oh my gosh, they cleaned it as soon as we got home. Like you just do that. There was a stench of bleach in the RV, but apparently the cleanup wasn't good enough because there were still droplets like of blood. There was a little bit in the carpet. But then again, he's arguing, this Truth Facts guy is basically saying, well, okay, how long has the blood been there? And Danielle's hair was in there because 3 days before, I don't know if it was the RV or the house, but her fingerprints were in the RV because remember I told you guys, she sold Girl Scout cookies. So she was with her mother selling Girl Scout cookies to David just 3 days before she disappeared. Now, the Truth Facts guy, sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, but man, he brought receipts. Or did he? Again, guys, I don't know. He claimed that, okay, the reason why the parents have to be looked at and their sexy lifestyle of them being swingers is that anyone else could have been in that home. They didn't really they didn't really grill the other 2 guys in the house. They just went right to David. Yeah. He claimed he was driving around to go look at the stars or something. I don't know. But him showing up barefoot to bring clothes to the dry cleaners is suspicious. But again, Truth Facts guy says that he parked right in front of the building, so it was easier just to not wear shoes. But I hate to break it to you, but when you go into an establishment, you gotta wear shoes. Do you guys know the sign? No shoes, no shirt, no service. Excuse me. When I get nervous, I get the hiccups because you don't understand. I've been researching this for days and also doing my business. So it's I thought I knew the facts. And in fact, my partner said not to do this case because it's so messed up. But I don't know. I love this little girl and we have some kind of connection. So I'm doing it. Okay. Now, remember, David is 2 doors apart. Okay. So, here we go. David is arrested February 22nd. Something with the twos, y'all. 22222. Yeah. February 2nd, 2002. David is arrested. 22nd, excuse me. But she has been missing since February 1st, February 2nd. They're not sure the time. Now, they say just moments, because by this time, David, you guys have failed a polygraph test, which we know in our last podcast that they are not always 100%. They are not always reliable, okay? But he did fail. He did fail polygraph test. Now, not only that, but he was moments away from saying things like, don't leave your gun in here to the police officer because he wants to end his life. I don't know if that's true. That could just be speculation. But one thing that I saw was that right when he was going to tell them where the body is of Danielle, because they're like, listen, we know you did it. We know you have her. We need to know where she is. And if you tell us where the body is, if she's still alive, we will do a plea bargain. We will. Now, as soon as he was about to say where the body was, the searchers, sadly, guys, the volunteer group found her body in not a remote place either. It was like, it was on the side of a road, like she was like tossed, like she was just trash, which is awful. She was found nude. I know, it's awful. She was found nude and she was partially decomposed, and perhaps the animals got to her. Now, what is really weird is that her teeth were actually broken in the front. I know. I don't know. I know. Sorry, this is really upsetting. They don't know if she was sexually assaulted or not. They don't. Because I don't, like I said, the decomposition and what the animals, the scavengers did to the body, they could not find out like what actually happened to her. Yeah. But him telling them like, I know where the body is, but then right when he's about to tell them, yeah, she's found. I know. Isn't that, I know. It's wild. Her body was actually found February 27th, 2002. And it was just a horrible disaster for people, because people were looking for Danielle for weeks, and they really had the hope that this little girl was still alive. And sadly, she wasn't. Yeah. So David is arrested. Like I said, he's been arrested. And the prosecution, I remember I saw bits of the court case, you guys, and it is extremely graphic. There is one guy on there who actually he testified at the crime, and he was arguing with the truth facts guy, well, everyone else, and he strongly believes that David is guilty, which I believe, I don't know if he was the one of the people. I think, because sadly, remember, the volunteers found her body. This gentleman, Larry Alston, sorry if I'm saying your name right. You seem like a cool dude. Like, I saw your vibe on the court TV kind of interview. I like your vibe. But anyway, he's in law enforcement, and he had to look at the body. And you could just tell by his eyes and his expression that what he looked at was just like so horrific. And he knows like that David is guilty, and he never had a doubt in his mind. Even though I do believe to this day that there are innocent people in prison, and I hope that DNA will continue to release people from prison. But this guy, though, David Westerfeld, a little bit backstory on this guy. Not only he was a neighbor, okay, he was apparently really liked by the community. I did read some comments where some people were like, oh no, I remember him. He gave a creepy vibe. He did. That's what they said. It's online. You can see it. He was a divorced father of two. He had a son named Neil and a daughter named Lisa. And this crime took such a toll on his children that they changed their name. Yeah, they changed their name. Yeah, I don't know what the first one was, but I think they just cut it down to West instead of Westerfield. It's West. So I mean, I think it's really, really weird how somebody can just go into a room and take a child and then do God knows what to that child. Because the coroner did say that she lived maybe a few days, maybe a week. But guys, we don't know. But with my intuition, with my intuition, she was scared, and she really didn't understand what was happening to her. I feel that kind of gives me some kind of comfort, because, when you're 7 years old, when you're second grade, I mean, think about back when you were and like what you didn't understand, Now, what sealed his fate, which one of the people are saying it's a lie, but this is what got him. Are you guys ready? It's really, really creepy. Also, if you're watching, I have blonde eyebrows, so I try to do my best to do the pomade, and I'm not the best at eyebrows. So if you guys comment on it, it's fine. I am very bad at eyebrows. I'm very well aware, but at least I have them, So okay. All right. I get sidetracked when I talk about something uncomfortable. I do. Okay. Now, the niece of David Westerfeld was just a child, and she was friends with his daughter, apparently. Okay? This is someone that's close. Now, one night, she woke up, and she's a young girl. Now, I don't know if I read that she was like 6 years old, 7, 8, I don't know. But the fact is, she woke up, and David may or may not have put his finger in her mouth and started rubbing her teeth. What? Are you the tooth fairy, David? Like, I don't understand. What are you doing? And then it got real dark when I was trying to figure out, like, what is that? Is that a fetish? Like, I don't understand. That what happens if it wasn't his finger? And I'm like, oh man, that is, that's sick. But you have this truth facts guy that's saying it never happened, and she lied. Because he says, or she, I'm sorry, I don't know, or they, I don't want to assume, pardon me, that when he was rubbing her teeth, she was so alarmed that she bit down. Now, when you're a little girl, she said she bit down as hard as she could. Now, there has not been a mark on his finger. There was no evidence of stitches. I know, I don't know. I gotta say that though. There was no stitches. But I'm thinking, like, when you're a little girl and when you're biting, you think you're biting so hard. You're not. But I'm sure it was enough for him to be like, ow. I mean, have you guys gotten bit by, like, like your cat or your dog? And it's not too bad because it's kind of like a play bite kind of thing. Like a play bite. I don't think she did a play bite, you guys. But I'm saying, like, maybe it wasn't as tough as she thought it was. And the fact is that when Danielle's little body was found, her teeth were broken. So yeah, not looking good for David. Not looking good for him at all. Also, he was an engineer, so he's very intelligent. But this is, again, when investigators went to, investigate the home, finding evidence, they found a computer with child pornography, over like 10,000 pictures of pornography. Now, David said that it was his son's. It was, yeah, I know. Trying to bury your son, huh? Wow. He claimed that it was just, big-breasted women, and it was women that were dressed young that were taken advantage of with two guys. Yeah. Again, I mean, it's very weird because the weird thing is that he was in San Quentin prison. Yeah. And if you guys don't know, I don't agree with California's political views. No, because they seem to give a lot of, they don't really, what do they not do, which is horrific, that we all saw recently, probably on Quiet on the set. Yeah, they seem to give a lot of rights to pedophiles. Yes. I don't know why, but they do. And they also do give like a slap on the wrist charges. So pedophilia is not a big deal in California for some damn reason, even though I believe they should be burned at the stake. I mean, just saying. Yeah, so he's still alive though, guys. So usually pedophiles or any kind of child abuse that is in prison, usually the prisoners like beat the living out of them and perhaps kill them. But for some reason, David is still alive. I'm not threatening anybody. Please do not go after me. I'm just a person. I don't know, a person in a square box on YouTube. So take it as you will. But it is very weird how, the teeth thing, the blood was found in the RV. But I feel personally that she suffered. And I think that police are holding evidence about what actually happened to her, because some people that were like testifying, they know, and they found out horrific things that happened to that little girl. But we don't know. So I think maybe they like shielded that away from the public because it was just too horrific. People blame the parents for being negligent. The person I really blame is the person who killed Danielle. The person I blame is the person who kidnapped and killed Danielle. That's who I blame. I think the parents made mistakes, and I think they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. And I found out that Derek and Dylan, her brothers, when she was missing and her body was found, it completely traumatized these boys. Completely. They actually were they were just scared to leave. Like I said, it just disrupted the lives. Brenda and Damon were just so distraught, and they just couldn't believe it. And the only thing that's making them go on in life is their 2 other children. So, yeah. I don't know, guys. It's very weird. I mean, one podcast says that there were search dogs and they went to his RV, and then another podcast says that there were no search dogs and they just saw a hose was on the yard. Yeah, a hose. And it was untidy or something like that. And they immediately went for David. But I do think that they kind of pigeonholed him. I do. But it did take quite a while for him to be again, guys, I'm so sorry. I did research, maybe too much research, to tell you the truth. One person said it took 40 hours to plead him guilty for the death penalty. Another person said it took 10 days. But it was a really, really rough court case. In fact, a lot of true crime people that research and are fascinated by it, that was the case that made them just took their innocence pretty much when Danielle was found. And I do believe he hurt her. I do believe that she was alive for quite some time. I want to say that it was quick. I want to say, but I don't feel like it was. And I'm sorry to say that. But one thing I'll tell you is no matter what is happening and no matter what happened to that little girl, that the pain was temporary. The pain was. I didn't want her to suffer. No child should suffer. None. At all. But I don't know. My gut says he did it, man. I just feel like he did it. Not because he looks like BTK, you know, like a wannabe or whatever. He looks creepy. It's just not right. Like, you go right to the dry cleaners. I mean, I get it. You want to go to the dry cleaners, you know, but you must have really loved that jacket. I mean, there were handprints, you know. Why was the handprint in the bedroom in the pier, you know? Apparently there was one up top, above the bed, but then someone argued, said, no, it was in the RV, but it was like, and I was like, it's still in the bedroom. It doesn't matter. This little girl was kidnapped in the middle of the night in her own bed, like by a real boogeyman. Okay, this boogeyman, David Westfield, is like tall as crap. I saw 6'3", maybe 6'4", 230 pounds. How did you not hear that dude in your house? Unless the parents weren't home. I don't know. How did the brothers not hear anything? I know. I'm not trying to but think about it, y'all. Like, how? But, you know, back then, a nice community, everybody leaves things unlocked. And it was an accident. And I think it's awful. And like I said, the only person I blame is the killer. I don't blame the parents. I believe people make mistakes. And they've made plenty of mistakes. But they should not be judged for being bisexual or be swingers for the murder of their child. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with that. And when people say, well, what about the other swingers, you know, could have taken her? And okay, maybe the cops shouldn't have pigeonholed David right away, because he literally had no criminal record at all. He didn't. You would think he was a sex offender, but there was no evidence of that at all. I know. Let me know what you guys think about this case. Danielle Van Dam was an extraordinary little girl that touched so many lives, and she was only here for 7 years. But yet, you know, she has a memorial overpass after her. She still has videos online of her singing and dancing and talking to people. And I'll tell you, she had a really happy childhood. She was a very happy child. And I want her to be remembered for that. Now, her family did have the Danielle Legacy. It's a foundation to help with the safety of children, to educate and make sure this doesn't happen to another family. So I guess that is, you know, a positive side to this. It's just too brutal. It's just because we don't have answers and our minds just wander. It's like when you watch a scary movie, when is it the scariest? Is when we don't see the monster. It's when what we think the monster looks like. That's when it's the scariest. So I feel like that is why this case has been like haunting me. And not only is she my birthday twin, you know, but it's like, it hit me really hard. But I was gung-ho on David, gung-ho, and I still kind of am. But I wanted to read everyone's, you know, like I was reading people's comments. I was reading Reddit. I was reading articles. And I'm just like, what? I just can't imagine the pain. Sorry. It's like a yawn and a cry. I cannot imagine the pain the parents went through. That's all I can say about that. Danielle, baby girl, hope you're resting in peace. I hope you know that you were loved and you were thought about even to this day, even this many years later. I'm sending positive energy, positive vibes to the loved ones affected by this case. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. I really, really appreciate you. Definitely, if you like my different kind of podcasting, definitely don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye, guys.